Fun fact for you. Anytime Fish me goes infantry to get howitzers, it always looks better to have done the fucking... Look at all these people. It always looks better to have done the armor side. And then Corby just throws in a jet, and we're like, why the fuck did the jet just crash? That seems very impractical. That was a long-running joke. Like, who the fuck crashes his jet down to get a tank out? My god. Anyway, I was saying, anytime I go infantry, it always looks better to have used armor, just because. And then anytime I go armor, it's like, wow, howitzers would have saved my fucking ass, because those armor didn't do shit. I haven't developed them yet, but at one point I get 2 howitzers there, and I could have made more, but I felt like 2 was enough, because I was constantly making tanks, constantly doing my best to defend. And Corby was as well. Corby was trying to dig in. That's why he moved his base from over here to in my base, because a strategy that we haven't necessarily implemented yet, but we've talked about in great length, is actually moving the base to fortify here. So me being the, not this game, but the armor unit, the tank unit, not necessarily this game because I was infantry, but being the tank unit, can amass units and just push as soon as possible before they can develop shit like this. Before any of this can happen, we push, and if they try to retaliate, Corby's strategy would be to fortify my base and in turn his base with units so as to block anything that they could retaliate with. And this was a common occurrence. No health. And I was heated about it. I was angry. Not necessarily now. When you see the tank that comes over here and just chills, that's when I was pissed off. And I started yelling at the tank saying, why are you still fucking alive? Where are my infantry? My infantry could kill that tank. They could shoot it with bullets. And Corby's like, shoot it with bullets? And I said, fucking throw a rock. I don't give a shit. And you know, throwing a rock probably would have been enough to kill that one, enough to kill the one that was over there. And I mean, constantly just killing things. And every time Corby tried to get one of these up, he'd get pounded with either artillery or these tanks would come up at him. We're an hour in, as you can see in the bottom right here. I don't think this video has gone too long. I'm really glad you can speed up 8 times. I wish you could skip parts of the video, though. That sucks. So then they got this fucking King Tiger, and they just get him out of there. I think I had howitzers now. I had 1. And, you know, we're not really making the biggest of pushes. They're not really taking our area, which is really nice. They're more focusing on this left side. And this left side was really what they focused on after this right side became fortified with this, and that fortified that. So, you know, they started pushing this left side. And Corby, again, couldn't get anything in. I think I just ran a guy out there for no fucking reason. Decoy artillery. He dropped that down to make him run. Really fun fucking thing. And then we have a King Tiger, which just doesn't have any fucking health. And I'm like, I'm hitting on him. Why isn't he dying? My howitzer should kill this cunt. And then they bring in fucking more tanks, okay? We put up with all of these fucking tanks. Now you might think, oh no, you're killing those tanks super easily. You're just taking them out. It's like, nigga, have you seen this many tanks? Have you seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, and I'll count the Tiger tank, 9. Have you seen 9 German tanks and defended them successfully without getting your fucking ass kicked? Using little more than 2 fucking howitzers? And I'm sure I had a fucking another tank hiding somewhere. And at this point I'm like, Corby, Your trucks are moving. He's like, yeah, I know. I'm like, are you leaving me? He's like, no, Fish, I'm not leaving you. And they kept moving. And I'm like, Corby, you're leaving me. Corby, stop leaving me. And he's like, I'm not leaving you, Fish. I'm just going over here for a while. And it was like, Corby, I'm going to die. He's like, Fish, it'll be okay. He manages to get this this anti-tank 17-pounder AT. I think that's hilarious. I didn't know they were called pounders. That's just silly. He manages to get that up, so hopefully he has to cover this side. And as you can see, it's shooting relatively well. It does pretty good damage. What was the enemy doing at this point? I guess I should clue you in on that. Making fucking shit. Yeah. They didn't fucking care. How many do they have in the base? 1, 2, 3, 4. They had 4 of them in their base. 5 of them. 6 of them. 7 of them. They had 7 of them that weren't on us. And then, was that maybe 3 or 4 of them that were at a time. Like, we were always under a fucking attack. And it was a terrible fucking thing. It was just so hard. And then they'd start pushing this side. And it's like, well, fuck. Now we gotta watch both sides. And we push on this side. And, I remember this guy. He doesn't do a lot at first. And we'll just watch him a little bit later. I get mad because he isn't shooting, so I push him out there to start attacking, and he dies. And then this guy's like, oh, whatever. And so I kind of missed it, and I apologize for that. I wasn't really sure when it was going to happen, but I get 3 tanks, and I position them all along this line, and I say, I'm going to make a line of tanks because that's what I'm going to do. Also give us a little bit of visual into what's going on here. I believe my howitzers start firing very soon. And, you know, I had this tank that for whatever reason I didn't use. Anyway, while I had this line of tanks, their tanks couldn't penetrate this line, which means this guy wasn't doing very much, which gave Corby the chance, as he had been trying desperately before, to make these 2 well, this is an anti-tank, I know. I think this might be anti-infantry. And this is a howitzer. Technically, it's a howitzer. So, my engineers are dying. I'm putting people out there. He's putting people out there. We know some of them are sticking to the hills. Some of them are hiding back here. Some of them went back up here. And then every so often, a few would push this right side. And when I say push, I don't mean... I shouldn't say I don't mean... When I say push, sometimes they'd occupy it and just wait. And we had a chance to put mortars or howitzers or something in there. And sometimes they would just straight up run at us. And it was like, fuck me. If they had gotten their tanks into our base, I can't say we would have been able to defend it. But for whatever reason, these tanks my tanks did an extremely good job. And Corby's anti-everything, as I'm fond of saying, did most of the defending. And Corby's connection, even though he was hosting, considering my NAT type is absolute shit, he constantly got the little message signifying that. That's not a big deal. That's not a big deal. Had they got those in here, I can't say we would have killed them as quick as we did. And then I put a artillery barrage on here using my howitzers. And when I say artillery, I mean anything that didn't come from, like, a gun, per se. And then these 2 are my tanks. And I'm trying to remember at which point the adventures of this tank started. I am really sorry I missed that. I thought that it was one of the tanks. Remember I was showing you the 3 tanks that were here? It was probably the middle one or the far right one that had actually survived. He goes up and he gets fucked up and I get pissed off at him. So I'm like, go away. I said, go up here. And he was up here for a while. And then that tank was next to me the entire fucking time. I didn't even know that. I tell him to go up here. And then I tell him, go over here. and that tank did not find me. Interesting. And at this point, I think his gun was intact. He was just hurt, right? So he goes up here, and then he goes over here, and then he's here for a while, and then he encounters a few fucking assholes, and these guys are actually retreating more because I managed to put a sniper in here. I made a base, and I got a bunch of units, and I believe we put a sniper back here. Yeah, and we just start shelling their HQ. So that's what's happening. I know it's moving a little quickly. That's because we did a little bit of a blitz on them. And they thought it would be smart to just get in there. And I had tons of munitions. Like, I could, I think, put fucking 6 barrages on their stuff. And right around here is, I think, when the sniper dies from another sniper. But anyway, that tank gets hit by a mortar or something, loses his gun, manages to survive for fucking days. I mean, it doesn't fucking give a fuck. Oh yeah, that tank just blew him up. I don't know who, what, when, where, why, or how. These guys should have taken that, but they didn't just yet. What's happening? So I apologize I didn't get all of it, but if you rewind, look at the map, you'll see what units went where. I'm green, Corby's blue, because I'm focusing on Corby right now, just because he does some crazy shit. He gets a fucking unit up here. Where is it? Where is the unit? I can't find. He had a unit up here. Are they down here now? Yeah. So he spawns a unit down here, and he might have been the one that hit me most. So anyway, they come with this tech. He spawns a unit and he starts taking these points, which is really cool. And he wanted to connect this shit up. So anyway, here's some fucking vehicles, and you know, they start taking this HQ, and I wasn't really paying attention. I got this one howitzer that's just managed to stay alive, and I think I continuously just barrage in this area because I didn't know what was alive and what wasn't. And then Corby's taking territory so we can get our population cap up, get some gas. Even though it wasn't in dire need, it was still nice to have. And then we returned to this battlefield. We were making jokes constantly about this bullshit. Like, it's not even dirt anymore. It's just gunpowder and shell casings. And then Corby gave it the nickname the Rape Field, which was fucking hilarious. I moved some engineers up, or Corby did, one of us did, in order to get some howitzer eyes on there. These guys aren't shooting, must have been Corby's guys. And then, while Corby was doing this, he dug his guys in, and later informs me that that's me, one of my tanks, just taking the front lines, taking the battery. Corby informs me that these Diggins actually saved his life. And I laughed. I said, that's fucking crazy. These 2 tanks come up. They think they're hot shit. I don't think I've ever finished my fucking statement. I apologize for not showing every single thing. I don't know why I didn't notice this tank popping up, but I'm sorry I didn't show you him just driving through this fucking chaos earlier, all the way up to here, and then moving up to here. And then that's when these assholes were here. But, again, we made a fucking blitz like no other, and we just went for it as hard as we could. And, you know, we took back a lot of land. We got these fucking howitzers occupied, which were my old howitzers. They just start shelling this area. I wasn't sure what was there and what wasn't, because I didn't have anything there. If, I probably saw this, and, you know, their HQ was up, and I wasn't aware of that, and blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah, Fich. I had a few units in here, but if I recall correctly, we had reached a population cap. And that fucked us up hardcore. And what's happening? Corby's guys were taking a bit of fire. Again, just the raping fields, as Corby would say. Just 1, 2, 3 anti-infantry, and then anti-tanks, And then infantry, Corby's guys constantly getting healed. I'd throw tanks up there as often as I possibly could, but reaching that population cap was difficult, and we didn't get these ones, I don't think, because it wasn't connected or something of the sort. And then they'd remove back from our line of sight. I'd be shooting howitzer missiles. At this point, I was feeling pretty strong because, you know, we were howitzering this shit up as often as possible. They weren't even touching it. Corby had units back here trying to take as many properties away from them as they possibly could, and I was trying to, you know, support that with my words. And then moving tanks up to try to keep these guys from doing shit like that. I'm waiting for this guy to move. Here he goes. No? Oh yeah, this is when shit gets fucked up. I had a gun, and he couldn't heal my tank. I know we wanted to, but it wasn't possible. I might actually not lose my gun here. I might actually lose it. I keep getting invited to join groups. Funny as hell. I wonder if that was in-game. Probably not. Nah, I wouldn't have recorded that. Anyway, this tank must have lost his gun when he went into the base. And so, yep, there it was. These guys destroyed my main gun. But I figured, you know what? Fuck it. He doesn't have any health. You know what we do with people who don't have any health? We use them as scouts. So I put him up here, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is what's going on. My howitzers should start aiming and firing soon. There we go. And then I was trying to shoot at the HQ or at this something, and I couldn't because he didn't have a gun. And Corby and I were talking, and he's like, well, does he have a gun? I'm like, well, he had one last time, but I didn't notice. Cool thing right here, it shows what part of you is damaged, which I really thought was cool. I didn't really notice that before. I think I went up there to let Corby do an attack. I don't recall exactly. I start dropping howitzers. This tank's just chilling. Tank doesn't give a fuck. Howitzers. I have a base, but I can't spawn anyone. You see I'm trying to spawn people, the population cap. And this is just fucking hell. We've got to fuck with those guys. We got to fuck with these guys. We are literally on the brink of being fucking destroyed for a good fucking hour. And all the while, we're just like, we can do this. We're taking points back down here. We're taking this shit. We got people at the ready up here. You know, we got howitzers. It's like, we can do this. And then there's no fucking anything. There's no hope in sight. We can't build more units. We can't do anything. He loses his fucking engine or something of the sort, so we just can't do anything. They're just moving some infantry up. He can't do anything, but we were like, there's no hope in sight. We're taking stuff, but they're still trying to push. And then I think after we destroyed this with the howitzers, he finally fucking dies. I mean, he was there for like 30 fucking minutes. After we destroyed their tank depot, we destroyed this other tank depot, which we thought was actually this one's. And then let's see if he had any HQ, if we fucked him up. He had a little bit of HP left. And we probably knew it too. We're just bombing. I was bombing with howitzers. He was trying to take areas. You know, we're going off, and we had taken out both of their armor producing things except for the Sturm, which wasn't really a big deal considering he had a lot of anti fucking everything. I have these two tanks, and I mean they're still pushing. This was fucking, look at this. It's just devastating. And luckily they started retreating. We always thought if we started pushing and hitting on their HQ, they'd start retreating. We thought that we could get them to slow down, and inadvertently destroyed everything. This guy at some point in time got fucked up, so I just put him out there so I could put one of these down. And I think I did. No, I didn't have enough. I need 150. I didn't have enough. Just click on it and just